I was into Taekwondo, into martial arts. So I decided to make it to the United States to compete at the US Open Taekwondo Championship. So I would sit down, I would meditate and visualizing, seeing myself there. When you are visualizing something, do not choose to see it unfold for you in any particular way. Don't get attached to the how. Getting attached to the how will slow it down. Rather, you want to focus on the what and the why. What do you want and why do you want it? It's going to come to you, but not in the way you expect it to. I want to talk today about another personal growth legend, Jose Silva, who has been an inspiration for me from the time I was 14 years old. What we're going to teach you today is a key idea from the most popular program on Mindvalley membership. So first off, how many of you here have a Mindvalley membership? Phenomenal. If you don't, it is one of the best investments you can make in your life. Remember in the old days when you attended seminars like this, like 7, 8 years ago, the teachers would pitch a $2,000 product on stage? Mindvalley membership is 100 programs. Lisa Nichols' Speak and Inspire program is on it. Marissa Peer has 2 programs on it on hypnotherapy. I have 3 programs on it, from the Silva Method to Be Extraordinary. Ronan Diego has all his health programs on it. Christina has her self-esteem program on it. Jim Quick has Super Brain and Super Reading on it. And it's only, depending on the country you're in, between $199 or $399 a year. And all of these programs, which are 4-week journeys, are open for you. So I encourage you to look into it. It is so valuable. But today we're going to talk about the single most popular program on Mindvalley. In the last 1 month, this single program was responsible for 20% of all the views on Mindvalley. So if this was HBO, this is like the Game of Thrones program. And the Game of Thrones of Mindvalley is Silva Ultramind. And I'm so proud that it's this program, because this was the program that first touched my life. The Silva Method was created by this Mexican-American man, Jose Silva. He was a radio engineer, and he was experimenting with brainwaves. He was in the US Army, and he noticed that the Army would appoint hypnotherapists to help soldiers with their self-esteem issues. He got fascinated by hypnotherapy, and he started experimenting with hypnotherapy and biofeedback back in the 1960s on his 10 children. Back then, it was perfectly okay and legitimate to do brain experiments on your kids. Now, what he found is that his kids not only were seeing their grades improve in school, but they developed unique abilities. His daughter, Isabel, was able to predict things with a weird accuracy. He would put her in the alpha state of mind and then read her homework. Because when you're in the alpha state of mind, you absorb information better, you remember it better. Then before he could formulate in his voice the question, who is the 16th President of the United States, Isabella would answer. And he realized he had stumbled upon the concept of intuition as a learnable skill. This became the Silva Method, and it went on to create magnificent ripples across America. Maybe you guys are aware of Richard Bach. So Richard Bach wrote a book called Jonathan Livingston Seagull. And what's crazy about Jonathan Livingston Seagull is this book went on to become so popular, it sold millions of copies, it made it to the cover of Time magazine. But Richard Bach said that for 5 years, this book was sitting on his basement shelf as an unfinished manuscript until he attended a Silva seminar and the closing chapter came to him. He completed the book, and Jonathan Livingston Seagull became a publishing phenomenon. But it started with Bach going for a Silva class and learning how to tap into inspiration. Now, Silva isn't just for intuition, it has huge applications for healing. So this doctor, Carl Simonton, decided to see if I could use these Silva techniques for healing, what would happen? He decided to try this out on 159 patients who had terminal 4 cancer and were given, sadly, 12 months to live. Now, these patients, for 4 months, had to practice a concept called the 3 scenes technique. This is what I'm going to teach you here today, okay? They had to practice the 3 scenes technique for 4 months. 4 years later, 63 were alive, 14 showed no signs of cancer, 12 had their cancer regressing, 17 was stable, and the average survival rate doubled. Carl Simonton went on to say about the Silva system, it's the single most valuable single tool I have for patients. But it gets weirder. So when I was first building up Mindvalley, Silva was one of our first products. So I traveled around the world. Jose Silva died in 1999. So I traveled to find people who worked with him. This was one man, Bert Goldman, who was his most popular lecturer. Bert was 83 years old when I took that picture with him. And Bert had a crazy story. So he was teaching a Silva class, and he spoke about how you can download inspiration, download ideas. So a student challenged him. The student said, can you pick up a skill and become world class in 7 days? Now back then, the classes were 2 days on a Saturday and Sunday, then you have a break, then it's another 2 days. So Bert had 5 days to test his hypothesis. So he said, okay, give me something to pick up. So the student said, photography. So Bert said, okay, let's see if I can use Silva to become a better photographer. So he had 5 days to become a better photographer. And he meditated, he sought to tap into inspiration, and he went to the beach in San Diego. And he wanted to take some photos of the ocean. As he was walking down onto the beach, he started tripping on some pebbles. And then he heard this voice in his head that said, plant yourself. So he planted himself like a tripod. Then the voice continued. The voice said, take lots of photos. So he thought, okay, that's kind of weird. All right, I'm going to plant myself, and I'm going to click, 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 and take lots of photos. So Bert goes home. These were the days of print. He prints out all the photos. He puts it on his hotel room bed, and he's trying to see what did this intuitive response mean. And he realized that the photo formed a beautiful collage that looked like this. This is what
this is the first one.
And this was when those words, plant yourself and take lots of photos, came to you. And
yeah, that's it.
That quantum
plant
jump.
yourself. This is where I planted myself.
He created this style of photographic art. And the style went bigger and bigger and bigger. The later pieces were even more impressive. When he was 87 and 89, Bert used Silva to learn the piano, to learn how to develop apps, to build a website, to write multiple books. I went to visit him shortly before he passed away. And this is what he showed me.
Great. So we've seen your painting.
Give me 4 numbers from 1 to 7.
6, 4, 3, 1.
It took him 4 months to learn how to play the piano. He was almost 88 or 89 when this video was taken.
When the dog sings along.
I found this really cool because it shows that no matter what your age, we have access to wisdom, to insight that can navigate us. Now you want to hear another crazy story? The other person I tracked down was Helen Hadzel. This was in 2008. Helen Hadzel was Jose Silva's PR director. And being in Jose's vicinity, she gained this uncanny skill to influence the laws of probability. Helen became known as a witch in the part of Texas that she lived in because she kept winning competitions. She won $250,000 in 1960s money and prizes. That's about $1 million in today's money. She won homes, she won trips to Paris, 7 trips to Paris. She won a boat, she won an outboard moto. And she just knew that whatever sweepstake or competition she took part in, she would win, including sometimes $50,000 cash prizes. I got to visit Helen again shortly before she passed away. And she told me that she just developed this ability to just command how she wanted reality to unfold. But let's look at a modern version. This is Bianca Andreescu. So a journalist just asked me, what's one of the craziest Mindvalley case studies? Bianca Andreescu was a 16-year-old Romanian girl. She attended one of my classes on the 6 phase, and in that 6 phase, I taught her the 3 scenes technique, the exact same technique I'm about to teach you. She was 16, she kept using the technique to see herself winning the US Open. In 2019, she beat Serena Williams and won the US Open. When the press asked her, how did you do it? Because she was so positive, she ran to Serena and she apologized for beating Serena. And the press said, how did you do it? And she goes, where's my phone? Where's my phone? And she pulls up my book, The Code of the Extraordinary Mind, where I talk about this very technique. So the Silva Method is something truly powerful. You guys excited to learn it? Okay, first, I gotta tell you a crazy story about how I brought this in my life, okay? So firstly, my dad sitting right up in front, it was his book that got me into Silva. So, Dad, did you ever read the book? You did, right? And then my dad somehow passed his wisdom on to me. So I was 14 years old. Now, when I was 17, I'd gone through Silva, I'd gone through Wayne Dyer. I decided to put all of this together and do something that I was really passionate about. I was into Taekwondo, into martial arts. So I decided, look, if Silva is so powerful, I want to make it to the United States to compete at the US Open Taekwondo Championships. Taekwondo is Korean karate. Okay, so this was a big goal for a 17-year-old kid in Malaysia who had never, ever, ever set foot in the US. So I would sit down, I would meditate, I would look at this technique, and I would see exactly what I wanted to see. Me winning the trial competition, me making it to the US Open, me walking into that ring with the word Malaysia on my back, wearing my black belt, making my country proud, setting foot in America. And then the words came from my martial arts teacher. So my martial arts teacher announced that they were going to be assembling a team. But to get to the team, I first had to compete in the heats. I had to win a gold medal in the heats. The heats are just with members of the local club. Then I got to go fight the other national members from other clubs. And if I win a gold medal in the national competition, then I get to go to the United States. And I was so excited because he said the magic words. And by the way, this trip will involve a bonus trip to Disneyland. So I was so into this. So I kept visualizing and visualizing and visualizing, seeing myself there. And then the heats came up. Okay, so now picture this, right? So it's the heats. I'm going to have to take off my jacket for this one. So relax, it's just a jacket. Okay, so it's the heat. So what you got to do is there are 3 men holding 3 2-inch thick pieces of wood. And you got to go bam, 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 and break all 3 pieces of wood in as shortest a time as possible. So I've visualized this, I've seen this happen. So I get ready, the whistle blows, I go bam, bam, bam. And then I put my foot down and I'm just ready for the wood to collapse. I picture it like, have you guys ever seen Kill Bill? Where when the samurai guy cuts a person, that person will slowly split in 2, right? I look at all 3 pieces of wood and all 3 wood is still standing. But I know it's going to break in 2. So I'm just waiting for the wood to slowly slice in 2 and then for everyone to applaud. But no one applauds. I get the whistle blown and I'm out. And like that, I'm out. I didn't break a single piece of wood. I didn't even qualify. I am out at the heats level. So I'm like, damn you, Silva, this is supposed to work. Now, I resign to my disappointment and I go to the main competition. So now it's the main competition and so I'm sitting there in the benches to support the other members of my team and I have my martial arts costume in my backpack. Because back then, I carried my martial arts costume wherever I went, just in case I saw like an old lady being mugged. I could dash into a phone booth, like put it on and then like kick the robber's ass. So I had my martial arts costume with me. So now it's the heats and I see my fellow martial arts student, Daniel, come to me, and Daniel was my age and he had just won the gold medal in the sparring competition. So Daniel was supposed to take part in the wood breaking competition, but he says, Vishen, I already won the gold, I'm going to be in America, but I think I have a hairline fracture on my foot. I don't want to make it worse. So do you have your costume? Can you go compete? You don't have to win, just represent the dojo. So I say, okay, so I put on my costume, I go there, and it's the finals now. I'm not even meant to be there. It was sheer coincidence that I was there. I see the 3 pieces of wood, the whistle blows, and I go bam, bam, bam. And this time, weird enough, all 3 pieces of wood break. And then I look at the clock, and it says 52 seconds. I was the champion. I won the gold medal for the fastest break. So now, I make it to the US Open. But something very weird there, right? First lesson I want you guys to take down. When you are visualizing something, do not choose to see it unfold for you in any particular way. Don't get attached to the how. Okay? Getting attached to the how will slow it down. Rather, you want to focus on the what and the why. What do you want and why do you want it? The why is going to be these beautiful, juicy emotions. Focus on the what and the why, not on the how. That's a quote from Esther Hicks. So I learned an important lesson there. It's going to come to you, but not in the way you expect it to. So now I'm in the United States. I get to see Disneyland, which is super joyous, and then they take us to the US Open at the Colorado Springs Olympic Training Center, and that's super scary. So now my turn comes up. I'm now taking part in a sparring competition. So as I'm going onto the ring, so back then, you got to understand something. I'm wearing glasses, like I have really bad eyesight. This was before I had LASIK. So I have these giant 80s glasses with the lenses so big, you could clean them by licking them, right? And in Malaysia, this is perfectly fine. So I'm getting into the ring with my giant sports glasses. And the referee says, "Kid, what you doing?" And I go, I'm about to get in the ring. And the referee goes, "Kid, where you from?" And I say, "Malaysia." And the guy goes, "Malaysian rules don't apply here. Take your glasses off." And I explained to the referee, if I take my glasses off, I can't see. My power is minus 700. I can't recognize someone like this far ahead of me. The referee says, "Look, this is America. We love to sue each other. If a piece of glass breaks, punctures your eye, you're suing all of us for $10 million. Take your glasses off." So I got to take the glasses off. So now I'm going into a ring completely blind. And then, to make matters worse, I realize I'm about to face the Dutch national champion. Now, if you know anything about Dutch people, you got to know this. Dutch people are ridiculously tall. So now I'm facing this guy called Glenn Ryback, who is basically half human, half giraffe. Right? Now, Taekwondo is a kicking sport, so the longer your legs, the more of an advantage you get. It's basically like leg length is an advantage. This guy was super skinny, but he had crazy long legs. So I'm facing Glenn Ryback, and at least I think I'm facing him because I had no freaking idea where he was. I couldn't see jack. And in 20 seconds from the time the timer starts, I feel a knock in my head and I'm on the ground. I wake up, I'm trying to find this guy. Where the hell is Glenn? I get another knock in my head and I'm on the ground. 35 seconds. And at that point, my referee tosses in the towel and I officially become the fastest knockout in the US Open. I was knocked out and hospitalized in 35 seconds. I was only the only blind person to fight in the US Open. So I literally was carried out in a stretcher. But it wasn't bad. I got to see Disneyland. And I got to set foot in America for the first time. But a second lesson came. And the second lesson is this. Be very, very, very clear what you want. I saw myself walking into the ring with the word Malaysia on my back, with the lights, with the US Open Championships 1993 in Colorado Springs. I wish I'd seen myself walk out of the ring. So you got to be super, super, super specific, okay? So keep that in mind. Don't get attached to the how, and then know what you want, okay? I'm going to now teach you the technique to bring this outcome into your life. So from the stories I shared thus far, it should maybe get you thinking. Could Helen Hadzel really influence the laws of probability and win competitions? You don't have to believe that's a yes or no, but you got to admit something pretty strange is happening there. Could Bert Goldman really pick up all of these skills, even in his 80s? Could this man, Richard Bach, write one of the greatest books of the 1960s and get covered in Time magazine on the cover, and see the closing of that book come to him in a Silva class while in deep meditation? What could you do with these abilities? So, I'm now going to teach you the technique. It's from the most popular program in Mindvalley called the Silva Ultramind program. And if you find this complex, don't worry, you can take the program. So the Silva Ultramind class is 18 hours. During the pandemic, we digitized everything and we put it on Mindvalley. So you can take the full 18-hour class on Mindvalley. And you can do it in like half an hour a day and you're done basically in about 4 to 5 weeks, okay? So here's the steps. The first step is this. Understand the different states of awareness. 2, access the alpha level. 3, use the mental screen. 4, use the power. Okay? Now, if you're doing this for healing, you want to practice this visualization protocol 3 times a day for 5 minutes each. This is super effective. So I use this to heal my skin. Before I qualified for the US Open, I had really bad skin. 5 years, horrendous acne. In 5 weeks, I healed it using this methodology, and we'll talk about that too. Okay, so part 1, know the states. The alpha level is when your brain frequency lowers to a level of relaxation. This is what it looks like. So most of you right now are at the beta level of mind, 14 to 21 cycles per second. If you're currently asleep, you are at the delta level of mind. Alpha is sort of in between. It's light meditation. Theta is deep meditation. It is a slowing down of your brainwave frequency. This is science. You can measure this using a device called an EEG machine. So when you meditate, what's really happening from a biological perspective is that your brainwave states are getting into a more relaxed mode. Alpha is useful for healing, for creative visualization. Theta is a dreamlike state. If you meditate and you go into theta, your head kind of bobs like that because you drift in and out of sleep. Theta is where intuition comes about. There's a famous story about Thomas Edison. He had 2,000 patents to his name, right? Now what Thomas Edison would do is that he was famous for his afternoon naps. And legend has it, he would hold a metal ball in his hand, and there would be a metal plate below him. And as he drifted off to sleep, his hand would drop, the ball would hit the plate, there would be a loud clang, and he'd jolt back up. What people suggest he was doing was he was dipping into the theta level of mind to source ideas. There's a lot of evidence that this actually works. Now the next level is delta. Delta is harder to get to. Delta you go into when you're asleep. But in Silva Ultramind, it's not for this lesson. In Silva Ultramind, they teach you how to tap into delta. Delta is for tapping into higher intelligence to solve problems that you do not need to that you don't know how to solve. And in the Silva course, you learn a really advanced methodology called the mental video technique to speak to higher intelligence or God. But that's in the course. That is really advanced. But you'll still learn it in 18 hours. Now let's go on to the alpha and theta. If you could listen to your brain, this is what the alpha frequency would sound like. It's still pretty fast, but that's how much it's beating. Now you can slow down. As you go deeper in meditation, it slows down from 7 to 14 to 4 to 7. This is theta. Now you don't actually hear that in your head, but in the Silva class we use this sound. It's called a metronome to lock your brain into that frequency. Okay, so you can get these sounds from the Mindvalley app. Click on meditation, type in alpha or theta, and you will find these sounds. And you find that if you meditate to these, you can often go really, really, really deep and stay focused. All of this is already available for all of you members on your app. Now this is key. You are in alpha for the first 5 minutes of your morning. So you wake up, don't do anything else other than maybe brush your teeth or use the bathroom, go back onto bed, sit down cross-legged, and this is when you want to meditate. By the way, this same time is perfect for lofty questions. Both are about programming your brain. Okay, so now you know the states. Now let's talk about training yourself to access the state of alpha instantly. So watch what I'm doing with my finger. If you could see my brain hooked up to an EEG machine right now, as soon as I touch my 3 fingers together like this, my brain waves automatically slow down. I can measure this. In fact, I have measured this. This is akin to a hypnotherapist saying, when I snap my fingers, you will think you are a goldfish. Because for the first 30 days of going into alpha on my own by doing a 20-to-1 countdown, I repeat this statement to my mind. Every time I join my fingers together like this, I will instantly reach this level of mind to accomplish anything I desire. It becomes what is called a trigger. Again, this concept you will learn in the course. Okay, now, if you are not a good meditator, if you can't focus, there are 2 ways to learn to get to alpha. First, use the Mindvalley app and listen to the centering exercise. If you click on the Silva course, click on resources, there's a 30-minute exercise called the centering exercise where I guide you to go into a super deep level of meditation, and then I program you to be able to access these depths of meditation easily the next time. Listen to the centering exercise for 5 days straight, and you will find that your meditation goes super deep and you stop falling asleep. Now, the second way to do it, if you absolutely do not want to spend a few $100s on a Mindvalley membership, is to do the 40 days technique. This is how I learned it, like in Malaysia when I was 14 years old. When you first wake up in the morning, you sit in a comfortable position and you count backwards from 100 to 1 for 10 days. And when you hit 1, you just trust you're in alpha. For the next 10 days, so day 11 to 20, you count backwards from 50 to 1. Then day 21 to 30, you count backwards from 25 to 1. And finally, for the last 10 days of the 40, 31 to 40, you count from 10 to 1. At the end of 40 days, you only have to count backwards from 10 to 1 when you wake up in the morning and you sit up in bed to be able to hit alpha. Super easy, right? You guys got that? Now, when you're at alpha, this is what you want to do. So the first thing is, try doing the 6-phase meditation. It is amazing when you do it at a deep level of meditation. But you can also do lofty questions, where you are self-hypnotizing yourself. But what we're going to teach you to do here is the Silva 3 scenes technique. Now, to do the 3 scenes technique, you first got to have a placeholder on where to visualize. So some people visualize at the back of the eyelids. Jose Silva says, don't do that. What you want to do is imagine that there's a giant television screen 6 feet out in front of you, 20 degrees above the line of horizon. Why 6 feet out? So that you can imagine that it's massive. And you want to raise your eyes 20 degrees, because when you raise your eyes 20 degrees, it triggers your brain to produce alpha. This is why hypnotherapists, when they hypnotize you, they ask you to raise your eyelids up a little. It actually causes, for some reason, your brain to produce alpha waves. So when you're at the relaxed level of mind, you see this mental screen, and it is on this mental screen that you're going to visualize anything you want. Your eyes are 20 degrees above the line of horizon. Don't worry about measuring that. It doesn't matter. All it means is raise your eyes slightly. Okay, so you finish step 3. Everybody understand the mental screen? Now we go to step 4. On step 4, we're going to use the mental screen in a specific way to manifest your heart's desires. Now, before I go there, let me just explain something. How many of you here have a coffee machine in your house? Raise your hand. Okay. How many of you have an electric drill in your house? Raise your hand. So, coffee machines and electric drills are both very useful tools to have in your house. But how many of you here use your electric drill every single day? Not many. But the coffee machine, you'll use it almost every single day. So there are tools that we have that we use daily because they put us in a particular state, right? Supplements, coffee machine. Then there are tools that you use when you need to solve a tactical problem. So an electric drill, you use it when you need to put up a picture or maybe threaten your kids. I hope Shafali isn't here. It's not used every single day. Now, lofty questions and the 6th phase are things you use daily. They give you these beautiful states of being. They program your mind. The Silva technique I'm teaching you, you don't have to do it daily. You can if you want to, but you use it when you've written down a new goal on your 3 most important questions, and you want to take that goal and embed it deep in your subconscious. I use it maybe once or twice a week. That's it. It's that powerful. You don't have to keep visualizing the goal every single day. In fact, sometimes that can be annoying. The universe has patience too, but its patience probably shouldn't be tested. Imagine being the spoiled kid at the back of a car going, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? That's what you're doing to the universe if you keep visualizing that dream house or that dream car every single day. As long as you do it once and you feel it's coming to you, you're good. Chill out. Next, step 4, utilizing the power. So now you have the mental screen. This is what you're going to do. You're going to practice this unique technique that Jose Silva created called the 3 scenes technique. It's powerful for manifesting. It's powerful for healing. This is the technique that Dr. O. Carl Simonton used on cancer patients. It's powerful for tapping into intuition. So let me explain. You're going to see the giant TV screen like before, right? But there's going to be 3 different scenes. The first scene, you're going to see and feel the pain, feel the emotions and frustration of what you do not want. You're going to do this for about a minute to 2. So if you're trying to heal bad skin, see the bad skin. If you're trying to make it to the US Open, see yourself not at the US Open, like struggling to get your practice right. If you're trying to build a business, see where your business is right now. But remember, you are seeing present reality. You're not seeing the past, right? So maybe your business is at 1 million. See that. But in scene 3, you're going to see your business at the goal you want to take it to, which might be 4 or 5. Now, scene 2, you see yourself taking some action to get to the goal. So let's say you do not have a business right now, but you want to start a business. In scene 2, you might see yourself registering a company, or you might see yourself raising the first 10K that you need to get the business off the ground, or writing the business plan. Scene 3, you see and feel the end result, which could be 6 months, 3 months, 1 year out. It doesn't matter. And that end result, you want to bring in emotion. You don't just see the business, you see your feelings as you are in the business. Freedom, joy, passion, significance. You guys getting this so far? See the pain, see a step you're going to take to ease the pain and move towards the solution, see the solution. But now we're going to add a little nuance. So the nuance is this. On the first scene where you're seeing the pain, you see the screen directly in front of you. Now, when you see yourself taking action, you move the scene a little bit, 15 degrees to the left. Then when you see the final scene, you move the scene again 15 degrees to the left. Now, why are you doing this? It turns out your subconscious mind sees the future as to the left. When a hypnotist hypnotizes you, they ask you to go back to the past, your body will move this way. If they ask you to go to the future, your body tends to move this way. Over thousands of trials, Jose Silva found that when you move the scenes this way, you are subconsciously telling yourself, this is the future I want. Okay, so first scene directly in front. Second scene, taking action, 15 degrees to the left. Third scene, end result, another 15 degrees to the left. You guys all got this? Yes or yes? Next. In scene 1, you want to see the present. So the rules are, feel the pain, take into account any changes since starting this process. So let's say you do it on a Monday, 7 days later you do it again, and you've been able to diminish some of the pain that you're feeling. You don't have to see the past, you can see that change. And in scene 1, you exaggerate the pain. The pain creates motivation for change. You're not going to manifest the pain, rather you're creating a burning desire for that change. So I'll tell you a story. When I first became a Silva instructor, there was another instructor who got certified with me, and his name was Jason, and he lived in Texas. And what convinced him to get certified is that Silva had helped him overcome a Coke addiction. Now I'm talking about Coca-Cola, not the other Coke, right? Jason basically had to consume 2 liters, 1.5 liter bottles, 3 liters of Coke. Each bottle in the US is 1.5 liters. 3 liters of Coke a day. That's 2 massive bottles of Coke, because he was hooked on Coca-Cola and sugar. All of you, I hope, know by now that Coca-Cola is one of the most disgusting things you can put in your body. But Jason was hooked on it. In the first scene, he saw that pain. He saw his obesity. He saw his wife not finding him attractive. He would exaggerate. He would see himself like chugging the Coke as it spilled all over his body. He would see himself feeling sluggish and disgusting, not being able to focus. He would see the sugar wreaking havoc on his internal systems. Then he goes on to the second scene. Second scene shows the near future. And here you want to show baby steps. Now, you don't have to know exactly what to do to take action. Just speak to your subconscious in a way it would understand. So in Jason's case, in the second scene, he saw himself going from 1 bottle of Coke, 2 bottles of Coke a day, to 1 bottle. So here, rather than 2 bottles, like chugging 2 bottles, he was just chugging once, and his wife was giving him a nod of approval. After 1 week, he was down to 1 bottle. Now he updates it. In the first scene, he sees himself disgustingly chugging 1 bottle. And in the second scene, he sees himself reducing it to 1 glass. So you see how this works? You are reinforcing the improvements. Now in scene 3, you see the end result. So in scene 3, what Jason saw here was, it's lunchtime. Somebody serves him a glass of Coke. He pushes it away because he prefers water. You see the situation fully resolved. He would see his body being fit. He would see his wife excited about making love to him again. He would see his teeth getting cleaner. Silva found that if you see 2 or more people benefiting, for example, if you want to heal back pain, don't just see yourself walking boldly, see yourself being able to lift your child. If you see 2 or more people benefiting, it manifests faster. So in this final scene, you see the end result. It took Jason 2 weeks to completely eliminate his Coke addiction. And I have students who have used this to reverse eyesight in 1 month, go from bad eyesight to perfect eyesight. I've seen people use this to completely end back pain. I've seen incredible healings. If you go to stories.mindvalley.com and you search for Silva Ultramind, you will see all of these stories. And just 20 minutes ago, as I was preparing for this talk, one of you messaged me with a story. And I messaged them back on Instagram. And I said, can I read this out? May I read this out to you guys? So this is Nakshatra. Nakshatra Shane, would you stand please? Where's Nakshatra? Okay, give him a round of applause, okay? This is what... So last night, Nakshatra came to me and said, hey, I was telling you about the coincidences that happened after I did Silva. This is what happened to me. I scaled from owning 1 restaurant to 10 restaurants. I hosted one of the biggest events of my city with no experience of hosting any events and sold 300 tickets. I always had the idea to start an influencer marketing agency but couldn't do it due to some reason. And now I have the biggest agency of my region. Thank you, Nakshatra. Now, if you're doing this for healing, there's a slight twist in the methodology, okay? So this is how I healed my skin. This is the process that Carl Simonton used on those terminally ill cancer patients. And if you go to stories.mindvalley.com and you choose Silva, you will see hundreds of case studies of healing. This is the approach for healing. So let's talk about skin, right? So the first thing is this. In scene 1, you see and feel the pain, the emotions, and frustration of the illness. In scene 2, you see some symbolic or real action taking place to create healing. Maybe your doctor has given you a skin cream. You see yourself putting on that skin cream, but you exaggerate it. Maybe you imagine that as you put on this skin cream, sparkles and unicorns burst out and they start patching and healing your skin, and your skin gets clearer and clearer. Scene 3, you see and feel yourself being fully healed. Perfect skin, looking in the mirror, feeling amazing. But the most important thing is this. When you're using it for healing, Jose Silva says, do it for about 3 minutes, so 1 minute per scene, 3 times a day. Now, 3 minutes is minimum. You can do it for 9 minutes if you want, but you do it 3 times a day. This is the time when repetition counts because you are reinforcing to your body, healing, healing, healing. You can use this to come out of a cold or a flu really rapidly. You can use this to improve eyesight. I can tell you one thing about myself. Since I've learned this, I'm now 47, I take no prescriptive medicine. I was told at one point I was allergic to stuff. I have no allergies anymore. The third thing is I have perfect health, that there's no illnesses, nothing. And I intend to stay this way into my 70s. But this is a birthright that all of you have. We just often do not have the right mindset towards our bodies. Every time you feel some imperfection on your body, you want to apply these type of techniques to help you heal. Do you guys swear to do this? Nurture and love your bodies. 9 minutes a day is absolutely nothing. Okay, so here's an example of how to create scene 2, okay? So in scene 2 for healing, you are not a doctor. You may not understand the biology of skin. It doesn't matter. Your subconscious mind understands symbolism. And healers who work on healing speak in symbolism. So for skin healing, this is what I did. I pretend I could reach up to the sky and scoop up the sky, and it would form a blue cream on my hands. I would rub this on my face. I then imagined, like Iron Man, I could shoot a light from my hand and I would light up my face. So I'm seeing my face in front of me, light up my face on that huge mental screen. Then I pull off the blue cream. It's become like a mask, and it takes with it all the dead skin. Now I imagine I'm surrounded by nature. I dip my hands into nature and I grab a green cream, which I put on my skin. Again, I light it up like Iron Man, going from top to bottom, all the way down to my chin, and I see this green cream becoming a new layer, blending with my skin and giving me perfect, flawless skin. In 5 weeks, I healed 5 years of acne. And you can do this for many different things. So today, there's actually a term for it. It's called psychodermatology. It's the mind's impact on skin. But you can do this for arthritis. You can do this for depression. You can do this for eyesight. You can do this for regrowing hair. You can do this for slowing down the effects of aging. Use your imagination. A great book to read where you get some of the visualizations is Louisa Hay's You Can Heal Yourself. Okay? But Louisa Hay Healing, you'll find that. So in summary, know the states, access alpha, see the mental screen, and then utilize the power. So, are you guys ready to do this with me? Okay, we're gonna do a 3-minute round, I want you to think of a goal that you are seeking to manifest. Remember you did the 3 most important questions yesterday? Pick something from there. Okay, so everybody got something? All right, close your eyes. Now, of course, you're not in a meditative state right now, but that's good. That's deliberate. I want you to lock in the approach. You will do this tomorrow, okay? As I walk off the stage, I want you to set an alarm tomorrow, 5 minutes after your regular alarm, and the second alarm is to remind you to sit on your bed and do this technique so it's locked in, okay? Rate of application. Close your eyes. Directly in front of you, see a giant, massive TV screen. On the screen, see the current situation. Feel what it is about the current situation that you do not like. Feel the emotions that sometimes frustrate you. Feel the pain. See the struggle. Feel the feelings. It is okay for you to get angry here, to feel mad. See how this problem is affecting other people in your life. It's not just holding you back, it's holding back a lot of people who love you. If your business isn't growing, your employees aren't going to have more opportunities for promotions. If your health isn't great, your family is going to be having to take care of you. They won't be able to do with you the things in your older age that you love. Okay, now stop. Now move the scene 15 degrees to the left. Now see yourself taking some action. If it's a healing, see a symbolic action. If it's a business, see yourself taking any random form of action to take that business forward. Napoleon Hill said, you don't have to know the right step. Just take any baby step towards the goal. Baby steps show the universe that you have intention. And the universe will reward your baby steps with clarity on the next step, and the next step, and the next step. Esther Hicks says, do not obsess on the how. Simply care about the what and the why. The how will come to you. Okay, now stop. Now move the scene 15 degrees to the left again. Now see the end result. Now here you can linger for as long as you want. See the joy. See the positive emotions. See the end result. Imagine you can turn a dial and make it more colorful. Imagine you can make the scene brighter. What do you hear? What are people saying? Bring in all 5 of your senses this time. Can you feel the wind on your face? Can you smell certain smells in this beautiful new scene? Can you see the smiles in the people around you who are celebrating your success? Silva says, see 2 or more people benefiting from this. Make it brighter. Make it bolder. Okay? And now open your eyes. That's the methodology. Now again, if you want to go really deep in this, when you take the Silva Ultramind program, I actually, using Jose Silva's approach, train you to, and we embed into your subconscious certain commands that accelerate your rate of manifesting and your rate of healing. It's beyond the topic of here on stage. But again, this program isn't like a $2,000 program. Most of you are members. You already have it. There's nothing extra you have to do. If you're not a member, I'd say become a member, because it's insane to go through life not having a Mindvalley membership. You're just not going to have the advantages that members have. They're going to take your job eventually, marry your girlfriend. Your life is going to suck. So become a member. Do the Silva Ultramind program. It's 18 hours, but warning, it's tough. It's a tough program, but as you can see, people who commit to it have amazing results. So thank you, and I hope you guys enjoyed this session.